In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with all of you a stock that is about to make a crazy move tomorrow and why y'all should keep it in your watch list. We're also going to look at the overall market to get you guys ready as always. Alright, y'all, let's dive right into the charts right off the bat. We got the SPY, and today we're going to use, you know what? Let's use the Nasdaq again. Yeah, let's use the Nasdaq again. It's an easier chart to read, so we're gonna go back to it. All right. Now, in yesterday's video, I told you guys that after massive moves in the markets, the market tend to give us dojis the next day or small candles the next day. Today we kind of got an inverted hammer. There was some volatility today. There was, but relatively speaking, this range is much smaller than the way the market moved yesterday. The overall candle is smaller, and if you look at the other indices as well, you will see that as a common trend. Was there opportunities for day trades? Yes, one here, one here, one here. For those of y'all who like to play these zigzags, there was some opportunities there. But overall, I would say in the end on the daily charts, the Nasdaq was a little sus at the close. The SPY was also a little sus. Again, this is another small candle right here, doji. A little sus. But the Dow Jones was obviously still bearish. We're going to look at that one. And that one is looking like it wants to really fall. It's a lot weaker compared to the other two indices. All right. The next level of resistance for the next level of support for the Dow Jones to look out for is exactly $38,100 right here. All right. How fast is it going to get there? Like I told you guys before, I don't know. It could be really fast, and it could all happen in one day. All right. Or it could be, or the market could just play games and slowly trickle down there until Friday or Monday morning. But the trend is bearish, so that's the direction that we're going to lean for all indices. The VIX is also climbing. If you look at that, the gap up here didn't quite get filled yesterday, and definitely didn't get filled today. There's a gap at 15 bucks. That's a lot of room for the VIX to push. Let's see here. This is a 5%, 6% move on the VIX that could potentially happen tomorrow, which could fuel, again, a sell-off in the markets. Now, let's look at the stock that is about to make an insane move tomorrow, all right? That stock is mRNA. Now, I want to share mRNA with you guys. Number one, because it's undervalued. It's been beaten down for quite some time. And this is for the bulls. This is for the bulls because the stock is actually looking bullish on a specific time frame. But it's been beaten down for quite some time. And when I look at the daily, I kind of see a head, a left shoulder, and then a right shoulder right here. Now, we're going to zoom into the charts. We're going to look at the 4-hour. And if we just take a look at this portion of it, we can see that there is a bullish pennant on the charts right here that broke out this morning and that closed near the highs of days at 98 bucks. Typically when everything is bullish and none of the indices are sus and there is very obvious direction in which way we're going, I would tell y'all to watch it for a move up to 110. All right, but with the way everything is looking, there might be just a little bit of a spike and it might struggle at like 103. Like it might struggle at 103 before like slowly tipping over and rolling over. So at least watch it for that specific move. There is money to be made on here. And also be ready for that misbehavior, because when it does misbehave, anybody who are super greedy and expected for a move like all the way up to 120, if they get to see that trend right there, their stop losses would get triggered and there'll be a massive move down later on during the week, like maybe later on, even in next week. All right, but just watch it. It looks good, but it looks good. I'm not gonna lie, it looks good. I just have my some slight suspicions that it's just not gonna go all the way because of the indices. All right, so just keep it on watch for tomorrow. Keep it on watch and watch exactly how it behaves out the gates. The next stock, again, I said this stock is about to make a massive move, but the next stock that we're going to look at, that stock is let me see. Let me go on to the 1 minute. That stock is PDD. All right. Now with PDD, this one, it has a structure on the 4-hour time frame. First, it had a massive move, and then it consolidated and sold off in the middle of January. And now, if you just look at this section, there is a descending triangle on here, a very similar one to the one that I shared with you guys on Apple. All right, the same structure, the exact same play, right here. Okay, and the indices are bearish, so that actually might help with the case of the stock. Obviously, you see my alerts on the charts, which means that I'm expecting a massive drop towards 101. All right. The main question that some of you may have this question or not. Oh, but the main concern that I have with this specific stock is the other Chinese stocks going to affect it? There is a Chinese stock that is reporting earnings tomorrow morning, and that stock is Bilibili. All right, Billy. That one is looking quite bullish as of right now. It broke above resistance, and that is an ascending triangle on the chart, which would give somebody a good reason to be long bias on the stock. But as I told you guys before, with earnings, regardless of what structure the chart shows you beforehand, it's 150% gambling. All right, holding through it is gambling, and anything can happen. The stock could beat on EPS, it could beat on sales, and it can still take. All right, even though, again, we went through this before with the other Chinese stocks. I shared you guys the example with Baba earnings. All right, give y'all like 10 different reasons why I thought it was going to go much higher, but instead it immediately had a negative reaction and tanked. I'm talking about Baidu, actually. Baidu. All right, so it could happen with this one as well. And if the reaction turns out to be negative on Bilibili, it could drag PDD down to where it should go if earnings wasn't in the way and we didn't have to play this game. All right, so watch PDD for that drop within the next few days. Now, let's look at some stocks that I've mentioned in the last video. For those of y'all who watched the last video, we discussed Tesla, and Tesla is still falling. Tesla is still falling. I told you guys before that we might see that 144 is a possibility. There is a gap to fill down there, and it's acting like a magnet, dragging the price down. All right. I also said I don't know when it's gonna get there. I really don't know. I look for hints intraday to look for entries for shorting opportunities. This one has a lot more room at the bottom. Long-term investors have their eyes on it, and I'm pretty sure there is a lot of limit buy orders at the 145-ish. All right, so just keep that in mind. Right now, the indices are just rolling over slowly, and we'll see how bad things get in the morning if they get worse. All right, we'll see. We might see another 2% negative. We might see another negative 2% drop on the QQQs if we keep going this way. Right now, the other stock that we're going to look at, which I've discussed in the last video, and congratulations to anybody who made some money on it. I shared with you guys CrowdStrike. I told you guys, this is one of these situations where the market is looking sus and the trend is bearish. The stock gapped up, yes, all right. But because of the way the market is looking, expect an all-day fader. And an all-day fader, which is, this is the play-by-play that I drew for you guys. And the stock sold off a lot more aggressively than I told you guys. Literally, the whole thing, like, instead of getting to 335 tomorrow, it got there today. So congrats to anybody who were able to capitalize on that. If you didn't watch that video, I'm gonna pin it at the top right section of this video. That way you can go watch what you missed out on. All right. Now, the last stock that we're going to address, and that is a stock that somebody asked about in the comment section. We're gonna look at Kroger. And this is Kroger, a retail company, a retail chain. Now, Kroger has earnings tomorrow morning, I believe. Yeah, on the 7th. And my thoughts on it, I don't think the stock is going to disappoint because of what I see right now. Some of y'all might see it already. If you have a hard time seeing what I'm seeing, I see a bullish pennant and it's pretty massive. Let me just go on to we're gonna go on the weekly actually to make it a bit easier for y'all. There is a bullish pennant right here. Right there. All right. It broke out a few weeks ago. That Kroger earnings could take it like really, really high. And by high, I'm talking like 65 bucks. It could. I'm not saying it will. And keep in mind what I told y'all about structures before earnings. Earnings is 150% gambling. The structures are there. Yes, it might give somebody like me a reason to be long bias on it. All right, because it's there, and the reaction can validate what we see on the charts. If it's super bullish and goes all the way up to 60, well, at least there was a precedent for that. All right. But if it doesn't and it completely collapses, just know that it's just earnings and it's earnings. Anything can happen through it. All right. But my first instincts when I see this is $65. So that's my honest thoughts on all of these stocks. And that is the end of the video. Do not forget to annihilate the like button as always. Remember, I make these videos from Sunday to Thursday. Exactly 10 p.m. Central Time. So definitely click on that subscribe button and click on that notification bell. That way YouTube notifies you whenever I release these videos. If you'd like to be part of a private Discord community where you can get all of this information in real time as I see them, you can find that as the first link in the description of the video below. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Paul and Guma and at Patternology Lab on Instagram and on X. And lastly, to get some free stocks with Webull, you can use the third link in the description of the video below. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Patternology Lab, where we trade patterns and patterns only. And I will see all of you in tomorrow night's video.